Happy time zone, fellow travelers, and welcome to another edition of Fast Travel on GDQ Hotfix. This is the show where we hop aboard the metaphorical GDQ plane to travel around the world and visit some of the regions of our wonderful planet, checking out the sights, sounds, and of course, speedruns that our runners have to offer. I am your host and Capitan on this journey, NickRPGreen, and it's if you don't have much, it depends where you are in the world, but if you don't have much international news at the moment, you may not know, or you may know, that it is that the UK is currently experiencing its hottest June on record. The last 3 days have been pretty tough. As you can see by my studio, I am on minimal lighting this evening to try and keep the temperature down as much as possible. It has been a fun few days. But I'm still here, ready to show off some awesome runs. Now, something else that you might not know, it's a fairly closely guarded secret that not many people are talking about, but I do understand that Summer Games 2026 is just around the corner. I know, shocking, isn't it? July 5th to July 11th, GDQ is back in Minnesota for a whole week of runs. Of course, you can head over to gdq.gg to learn more about it and to register. But since here at Fast Travel, we love to celebrate runners from around the world, I thought, why not combine those two together and let's have a celebration of some former GDQ main stage runners, and that is exactly what we have got for you today. So we are going to have some Metroid Fusion in a little bit by JRP2234. But before that, running Spyro Year of the Dragon 100 Egg, it is Dactly. Welcome to Fast Travel, Dactly.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Yeah, I'm Dax. I'm going to be playing some Spyro 3 today. Kind of been running this game for a long time now. The GDQ main event that Nick alluded to that I was at was 9 years ago, which I crazy to think about. But yeah, I've been kind of running this game on and off since before then. So yeah, going to be doing 100 egg today. I've got a generous estimate, so before we start, I'll just quickly explain what the category is. The way you progress through this game is you collect eggs, but you also have to beat all the levels as well. And then at the very end, there's a big requirement to get into the final boss. You need 100 eggs. There's 150 total in the game. In an 80% run, which takes like less than 25 minutes at high level, you can skip that requirement and just go in with almost nothing, with like 19 eggs. This category just bans that final skip, so it makes the run about twice as long. We see a lot more of the game. With me today, I've got legendary Spyro 3 runner, current world record holder in this category, Jeremy Thompson. Thanks for being here.
No problem.
Great. Yeah, I guess if we're ready, we'll start time when I gain control, so I'll kind of count you in. And I can't do a countdown, I realize, because I have autosave on, so it's going to be different timing on the loading screen than I'm used to. Yeah, I will lose about 20 seconds on this run with memory card, but like worth it for a marathon. Marathon event.
We know what you mean.
Yeah, marathon run is coming up soon. All right, starting. And go.
Woohoo, let's do this.
All right.
Thank you.
So one of the things that Dak alluded to is the fact that there's 150 eggs in the game. There are 146 accessible before the final fight is entered, and the final, used in quotes, not to spoil the ending of the game, but 146 available, so we're basically taking the best of those. There are some fringe eggs, which we'll point out when we get to. That are the ones that are considerable to be exchanged with other eggs, but for the most part, if an egg is hidden out in the open, like the one Dak is going to right now, then it's a good egg to get. There's a lot of glitches, a lot of exploits in Spyro, so I'll work my way through some of them just to provide the foundation. What he just did to get height is called a dead body proxy, and this proxy mechanic is something that you'll see pretty often in the game. For the dead body proxy variant, basically there are certain objects in the game that allow you to charge through them, but not to glide through them. And you combine that with the fact that when you charge jump, meaning square and X at the same time, and then press X while still holding square, you get a 1-frame glide. If you do that while you're inside of one of those objects, then the game realizes in that frame that you're inside of something that you shouldn't be inside of, and then it ejects you from it. And because you begin charging on the next frame, you retain the velocity as a vector. And so, in simpler terms, if you press X while you're inside of one of those objects, with good timing, you get height. Height is almost always what we want, and it allows Dact to make skips that would normally be totally inconceivable.
Yeah. Got the first important one, missed the second one, all good. Nice. So yeah, that was a swim in air. There's a lot of those in possible in the game. Water is not really... and in some places, those triggers extend slightly beyond where they're supposed to. And I mean very slightly. I was doing pause buffer setup there to get very precise position on that charge to be able to just clip the swim trigger without getting actually caught in the river, in the shallow water.
Those pause buffer setups, the visual telegraph setups, are a pretty recent addition. Before, we were doing this visual, like... kind of improv setup where you had to have a lot of experience with waterfall to be able to get it, because that swim in air, you're not going to land on the same pixel every single time. You need to know when to adjust left or right. This makes it a lot more approachable and also a little bit faster. It's been pioneered by Tuvo, who's a name you'll hear very often if you're learning about glitches in this game.
Yeah, that pause buffer setup has been kind of a lifesaver for me. I'm not very good at the position setup, so in like 4 resetless runs after I learned that, I golded that split twice, so definitely a fan.
One thing you'll also see several times is Dact going out of bounds and entering a level that, if you've played Spyro, you're like, wait a second, that level is locked, you're not supposed to go in there. Sheila is one of those levels. There's going to be one in each homeworld, but basically when a level is locked, it's still active. It's just stored beneath where it would be if it were unlocked. And so if you go out of bounds and you touch that portal, then you could still go into the level. So in this case, what Dact skipped is a 300 gem requirement and a conversation with moneybags. And you'll see that with every side character in the game.
Yeah, you're supposed... Oh, I guess you explained it. There's a gem requirement to unlock each of the side characters. Because we can skip all of those, we actually don't need to collect any gems in this run, which is unusual for a collectathon. Collecting gems is like a big part of the game, but yeah, completely not required. Gonna go for something here that is quite new. Oh, wow, I didn't even get it. Attempt. I will try this one more time because it's not too difficult.
You got this.
There we go.
Ooh.
I did got this. Thank you. So I'll let Jeremy explain how that works because I'm not gonna. Yeah.
Yeah. What was done, it's a very unique type of glitch, one that only exists in a couple of places that we know of to take advantage of in the game. It's called a momentary speed conservation, and it's kind of a broader term than a proxy, so it's kind of a neighbor to the proxy in terms of what it is, but it's not quite a proxy. In this case, it's Spyro being moved a great deal of distance in one frame, and the reason why he's moved is because the attack from the Gust enemy, the winged Rhinoc, it pulls you up, even if you're very under, and if you are pulled up at the very edge of the attack, then it can't catch you in that safety net where it's supposed to pull you into the animation. It just doesn't. And so if you do that correctly, like Dact did the second time, you get a bunch of height. And you can, in certain forms as well, there's a way to do it up top in this upper section of the level too, get an incredible amount of height. It's often the most height you get in the game from glitches is from what we call MSCs, momentary speed conservations, like I said. It's a really cool way to telegraph that again. It's a recent setup that was discovered off a trick that didn't even really think we could do off that enemy until the last couple of years, and the setup itself was only developed a couple of months ago.
Yeah, you saw me do like two full charge jumps on the way, and that is part of the setup, because you go slightly slower when you're charge jumping than when you're just charging along the ground.
Interesting quirk right here. Dact jumps and then pauses. And the reason he does that is because when you are exiting an area portal or entering an area portal, or these side areas, so in the Bell Towers challenge, for example, you retain the momentum slightly that you exit with. And so by jumping and then pausing while Spyro is still going up, then Dact is able to glide a little bit earlier and get to the upper section of the level, whereas normally it would just push you down and you'd have to do a lot more in terms of whirlwinds to get to where he was.
Yeah, skips at money bags, like the opening the bellows, I guess. Just have to stand here for a while. This is like the end of a little hunter challenge where he teaches you how to jump and glide. I have played the game before, so I do know how to jump and glide. So I can just go to the end and wait for him to catch up. Nice push. Oh my god, where am I?
So with the previous skips, you talked about that some of them are new. How much has this game, has the speedrun changed since your run in 2017?
Oh, quite a bit, yeah. Like a lot of the stuff that was in that run, I'm kind of still doing. Some of it because I haven't updated updated to the new stuff, but also because it's just the same. But there have been a lot of developments. A lot of them by present company, by Jeremy, and also Tuval and various other people have kind of contributed little optimizations here and there. But I think the overall route should be basically the same.
Yeah, the egg route, at least so far, I think we've only pulled one egg in the last 10 years.
Actually, yeah, I was probably doing sandcastles in 2017. So yeah, there has been one egg changed in the route.
Yeah. Dact and I were talking before the stream started. There are two eggs that they're considerable, but it's one of those things where you shouldn't, because the challenge is really terrible. It's a very, very hard challenge, and it saves almost no time, and you're replacing two very easy eggs. So maybe at some point in the next 5 years, somebody is courageous enough to do that. But for the moment, we're still on the egg route that we're currently doing.
So there I just skipped into a side area for a character I haven't unlocked yet. That's pretty nice because there's an egg just sitting there that is pretty quickly available. But yeah, normally you would have to backtrack to get into that area. You'd have to go to the next homeworld, unlock Sergeant Bird, and then come back. But turns out all of those intended backtracks are fairly straightforward to skip into. So even in a max completion 117% run, you don't need to do any backtracking. And for context, my main focus for a little while has been on that 117% run. I picked this category back up just for this for today, pretty much. So I've only really been running it for a couple weeks since my last grind, which was a year and a half ago.
And it is worth noting this category is being run at SGDQ 2026, if I recall. I
was going to mention that. Yeah, there's a really cool race actually happening. It's so Derek Lander and Toronite are racing Spyro 3, but sorry, 2 seconds. No, okay. But not a typical race. So Derek will be playing exactly what I'm doing today, 100 egg on the original Spyro 3, and Toronite will be running Spyro 3 on the Reignited trilogy. And it turns out that even though the routes are quite different, they have different physics, different glitches, the total time ends up being almost the same. So it's a really cool race concept. I did it with someone at a different marathon, and it works out really well.
Very cool.
Oh, hi, Spyro.
There's a lot of those opportunities. Very interesting races like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's something you don't see every day.
This side area that Dak's in right now is actually one we were mentioning before. It used to have a challenge that we did too. Took about 54.5 seconds. We've pulled that one now for a faster one. Conveniently as well, because there was a crashing issue too with the way that we were doing it, where every once in a while there are ways to kind of reduce the likelihood of a crash in it, but we would just crash the game, and that's not fun to do 10 minutes into a run, typically.
Something is usually frowned upon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't help that memory card loses time, so like even if you wanted to just like do a resetless run, you would have to like plan around that and intentionally lose time.
So you're playing this on original hardware. How
Yes.
much difference is there between? Because obviously, like the Spyro collection's available on multiple different consoles, and I think I've got it on my PS3 and my PS Vita.
Yeah, yeah.
Is there any difference between playing like the digital versions over the physical versions?
There is, yeah. So I'm playing an original PS1 disc on a PS2, and that's the most popular way to play. It's not the fastest. The world record and some of the other top runs play on PS TV, which is basically, if you're not familiar with what that is, it's basically a PS Vita, but has like a home console that you can plug a controller into. And that saves a little bit of time in loading times. It's like 10 to 15 seconds in this category, which is a lot more than the difference between world record and second place. So no one is losing out on record because of hardware at the moment. But yeah, PS3 is pretty bad. It lags a lot. And I can't think of anything else. There's like PSP as well, which is apparently quite good, but I've never played it. There's a bunch of different ways to play. And then obviously Reignited Trilogy exists on console and PC, and that's a whole different game. But
It's funny, when I first started speedrunning, I was on PS3, because the reason I started having that interest is because the digital release came out. And I thought it was totally fun, and then I went back to it after years away from PS3, and I was like, oh my god, this is almost unplayable. It's so bad.
I mean, that's
really
how I
bad.
felt.
It's laggy.
That's how I felt when I tried PS TV, but I think that's more because of the like setup that I was playing on than the console. Like, I think the TV I was playing on was just really bad.
Jack is finishing up the first homeworld right now. The homeworld boss is Buzz. It's one of those bosses. Some PS1 platformers, they have this boss. Seems pretty typical, where it's a very simple boss that you can just ruin with certain patterns. And so with Buzz, he's programmed explicitly not to come off the edge. And so if you stand next to the edge, he has this buzzsaw attack that's supposed to last for 10 or 15 seconds. He stops it immediately. So you remove his fangs, kind of, his attack. After the second hit, he starts getting this defensive wall of fire. And in Spyro games, if it's off camera, it doesn't really happen. And so Dact can turn the camera away from Buzz, and the wall of fire won't happen either. So essentially, Dact gets close to the end of the arena, Buzz stops his attack, he moves the camera away, he stops his defense, and then you just lock him in these hits and beat him very easily and very quickly.
That was super smooth.
It is a bit scary because you go into that fight with no health. So if you do mess up at all, you just die. But yeah, it in theory, it's the same every time. It is a classic to die on Buzz and then still PB, though. That happens to everyone at some point. All right, bit of a weird swim in air here. Oh, if I can hit it.
It's pretty rare in Spyro 3 to have a true clip. This is a true clip where you're clipping through something that actually exists. There's a lot of non-collision where you can see there's something visually there, but it's never actually physically there. Spyro can't collide with it. But in this case, the animation of him bobbing on the water and then the animation of him diving down can push him out of something that is physically there along the seam, which you sometimes see with those collision meshes. There are more found recently. There's kind of been a scattering of tricks found in the last 3 or 4 months. It's been unusual for the scene in the last 5 years because we kind of hit a plateau for a while, but there's some interesting stuff recently.
Yeah, for sure. Enough to bring you back to 20%, right?
Yeah, never. I thought I'd never see the day that I was done.
So yeah, but entered another side character level without paying for it. It's going to be a theme. This is Sergeant Bird. The movement for Sergeant Bird is deceptively tricky. You basically want to like strafe lock, like you hold both strafe buttons and it locks the camera in a particular direction. If you don't do that, normally Sergeant Bird has tank controls, so if you press right, he'll turn right rather than actually flying right. But by camera locking, you can make him actually go the direction you want him to go.
This level has an escort, so you're limited by the speed the hummingbird is moving through the level, but you actually have a lot of control, specifically in this level. It's a very intricate checkpoint system. And so there are some enemies that throughout the level Dact is killed where you can say, oh, well, he maybe didn't need that, but in most cases, it speeds the hummingbird up by not having her go to certain stopping points, or by just corralling her, or creating a permanent checkpoint when there's an alternative temporary checkpoint that he would have to wait on. So it's very telegraphed what he's killing, and it matters a lot. It has a difference of 5 to 7 seconds throughout the level if you're having those enemies dead versus having those enemies just stay there.
I didn't actually know it was that much. That's crazy. Okay, nice. Back up.
So off those crocodiles, those are dead body proxies, just to keep those categorizations. So dead body proxy, like we explained in Sunnyvale, it's the same type of proxy, just off a different type of enemy. A little bit of manipulation he did right there. Going the wrong way around that tree, you would think, oh, just go directly to the egg, but going the wrong way around that tree activates the alligators and puts one in a spot where it's more convenient to proxy up to this egg. That's why Dact did that.
And then at the start of the next level, there'll be yet another kind of proxy that we haven't seen yet, really. There's a bit of scenery that gets moved out of the way. There's a big boulder, and you can squeeze between the boulder and the wall, and there's not really enough room for Spyro. And if you imagine squeezing a bar of soap in your hand, you might get an idea of what will happen. Just wait for these guys to move the rock. Oh, never mind. Okay, that's unfortunate. I guess we'll just go this way. All right. Well, so what was supposed to happen there was I would get like shot upwards because I would have got squeezed out of the squeezed out of the little gap that you're not supposed to be in. But that's a really rare thing to fail, actually. That's not very difficult.
One thing that's always interested me a lot about 100 Egg is how dynamic the routes can be. Oftentimes there are 2 to 3 or maybe even 4 in some levels routes, depending on what tricks you have. And so you have to practice a lot of different strats. So Dact being able to fluidly go into a backup is just a testament to how much he's played this category. Because you do need to know the maps very well. You need to know what to do when things go wrong. It's an important part. This is an interesting egg right here. It's the thief egg. The thief is not spawned yet, and the egg is stored beneath where the thief would spawn. And like the portals where he's going into Sergeant Bird, Fila's Alp, the egg is still active for some reason on that one. It's pretty unique in the game in that respect. Most eggs that are stored, we can track them down with tools and figure out what coordinates they are, but they're just deactivated eggs. That one is still active.
So this next level you're supposed to open by hitting a target with a rock. I should have already opened this back when I had swim in air earlier, but I forget what I did, but I didn't do it properly. So just use the fireball power up. It's faster than talking to Hunter. Now, there are skips available in this level. They're all quite difficult and don't save a lot of time, so I'm just doing vanilla route. I guess I'll...
you guys.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, there's some very loud sound effects here. It should be fine on the stream, but like when I'm at like in-person events, I always have to warn the tech team that these rockets are way louder than everything else in the game.
I'm old.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they kind of messed up the audio balancing on that one. Alright, yeah, there's like 6 eggs in that level, but we only get 2 because the rest are all very slow. There's like a 2 from the skateboarding, which people probably remember, but is very slow. And then there's like the bone dance egg, which requires going all around getting, killing lizards everywhere.
Oh, that was nice.
Thank you. There's kind of 2 different places you can get that. You can get that thief coming out of Sergeant Bird as well, and it's like a very easy setup. You just kind of go mostly forward, but slightly faster to get it there just because you end up closer to Icy Peak afterwards.
I've played a lot of Spyro casually, so I've spent a lot of time chasing the egg thieves around. So to see an egg thief taken out like instantly is quite cathartic.
You're gonna like this level then.
Yeah, true. So I tried to go for a thing there that I'm not very good at yet, but didn't even get to really attempt it, unfortunately. I messed up the setup. So we'll do the normal skip. This is one of those jumps that looks like it should be possible, but isn't supposed to be possible, but actually is possible. Oh, damn. Going for the fast way to get this thief, but it's kind of technical. No, okay, I'm just going to do the, the easy way.
This red thief was poorly thought out in the sense that he's supposed to kind of taunt you from the top, but you can just jump and get it.
I'm gonna do something here. This is not what you would normally do here, but I'm gonna... Alright, sorry. You can just...
What was that?
So getting the red thief first kind of breaks the yellow thief, and so if you move the camera in the right way, you can make him just like spawn over and over, like respawn constantly. And so the best thing to do is to sit in that position with the thief, just doing that noise, and then just go AFK for a while. Yeah, a bit of kind of intricate platforming to get the last 2 eggs in this level. I'm gonna do the harder order.
Icy Peak's a super interesting level in this category because a lot of the levels end up being which proxy are you going to get, and now I suppose the best strat at the beginning is a proxy again, but in general Icy Peak is one of the levels that doesn't benefit a whole lot from proxies, and so you get to be more gymnastic with the way that you approach the level routing, and so you get to do some cool jumps, show off just mechanically that you're sound and that Insomniac maybe didn't plan for charge jumps to be as effective as they were.
Yeah. And spin jumps also. To get on those icicles, or the like ice statues, I was doing something called a spin jump. Spyro's hitbox is not just like a rectangle, it is like higher at the back where his tail is. And so if you jump facing away from a ledge, you can kind of slide up onto some ledges that are a bit higher than you're really supposed to be able to jump up to.
My tactical.
It's an interesting time. If you go back and you cross-reference with an 90% run of this game, you'll see a very different fight for this second fight. Spyro 3 has an adaptive difficulty, and in some cases it's very subtle. There's an enemy removed here and there. In Spike is legitimately much harder on the hard version. The adaptive difficulty changes first and foremost by which eggs are collected. There are certain eggs that are called hard eggs, and once you collect a couple of those, you move to the hard mode globally. So in this fight in 100 Egg, because Dact has collected some extra eggs, you have, 6 total hits. Spike shoots once more per phase, and he's more aggressive. Handles really well.
Yeah, that was a really good fight.
Yeah,
Got
well
kind of bad
played.
RNG on the
Awesome.
spawn though. So I'm playing on the original like Black Label copy, the 1.0 version, and there's a few little subtle differences here and there. But one of the more annoying ones is that you spawn in like, I guess like the wrong place there. The egg spawns at the edge of the arena instead of the middle. And then there's some randomness to where Spyro spawns relative to that egg. And depending on what spawn you get, the like time it takes to walk over to the whirligig afterwards can vary by up to 3 seconds.
Fireworks Factory is kind of notorious in pretty much every category of being one of the hardest levels. In 100 Egg, it's no exception. There's a lot that's difficult in this. There's a trick right at the beginning that saves a lot of time. It's about 25 seconds in this category. So Dak to go for that.
Yeah,
it's
I'll
very
hurt
hard.
him a couple times. I'll give it.
Another
I'll
dead body
stop when I
proxy.
have 3 lives, I think. So 2 more attempts.
Sounds good.
Oh,
Nice, really nice.
Yeah.
No, that dead body proxy is one of the more difficult ones that we consider to be RT viable. You need a lot of height from it. It's very small. It likes to move away from you and not cooperate. So honestly, really awesome to get that even second try. It still saves 12 or 13 seconds over not doing it, and it's a hard trick.
Especially the big one, getting all the way up to the bridge.
Yeah. Agent 9 has very strange looking movements. If you hold one strafe button, so L1 or R1, and then you match the other one while you hold forward, you can build up this incredible speed with Agent 9. It's a broken mechanic, and so Dax uses that here to get through this challenge very quickly. One of those challenges when you were a kid, probably, you went through very slowly, you aimed at the roof, you tried to peek into the rooms, but if you're going fast, these guys have no chance.
Yeah, the only annoying thing is that the walls are sloped, and so if you go into them too quickly, you just get shot way up into the air and get stuck for a while. So you need to control your speed and not go too fast. So you can't kind of keep track of where you're going.
Dak's going to go for a damage boost in this next side area. It's something that he tried as well in Seashell Shore. Pretty conventional, almost like a ubiquitous trick. It's in a lot of games, right? You have a way where you get damaged and that damage pushes you back in a certain way that's advantageous. So in this case, you see the egg behind Dak right now. He wants the damage to push him up onto that ledge.
Just.
Nice.
That always looks very sketchy because you only just make it, but that was like especially almost didn't make it.
It's a trick
Much
we
easier
actually
in the
thought
PAL,
for
though.
quite a while. Yeah, that we thought it was PAL exclusive for a while, and then PAL is a lot easier. It doesn't require setup like Dak did. On NTSC though, you need to center the Rhinoc in a very specific spot and then bait the bomb out in a very specific way. Otherwise, you don't have the angle to do it.
Something to mention actually, the PAL version is it's not that bad. Like, it's still runnable. There are some people who do run on it. It is slower in general. It has slower loading times and just some tricks that don't work as I think proxies just don't work as well in general. But if that's what you have and that's what you want to play on, that's like you can do mostly the same stuff.
This escort is the only breakable escort, as far as I remember right now, off the top of my head, the only breakable escort in the game, where if you hit this Zoe saves Spyro's progress through the level. And in this case alone, the NPC you're supposed to be escorting realizes, you know what, Spyro was saved by Zoe right there, supposed to be there too. I should be there. And so he just teleports to the end of the level. You save a lot of time like that. And then one thing that's going to be after this next egg is something called Zombie. And it's a really, really interesting thing that relies on the fact that when you take damage, if you consider sparks to be like a numerical value, we'll say gold sparks like Dak has now is 3, blue is 2, green is 1, no sparks is 0. If you take damage that should make Spyro die, but you pause on that frame, Sparks' numerical value goes to essentially -1. And then on the pause screen, you have the ability to exit the level. Now you're in this state where the game recognizes you took damage that should have killed Spyro, but you couldn't because it couldn't progress to that sequence. So the reason Dact is swimming right now is because the game is broken. It realizes in part that Spyro should be dead, but it can't kill him, so he has difficulty transitioning states, swim state, ground state. So because Dact spawns underwater in Lost Fleet, coming out of Lost Fleet, he gets to keep that as long as he wants.
Yeah, that's really... It's a pretty scary part of the run because that is a one-frame trick. Game runs at 30 FPS. But you can pause buffer it if you go early, but pause buffers in this game are not free. Like, the menu runs really fast, but you do need to actually, like, hit the button at the right time. Like, it takes some practice.
An interesting quirk as well, and you'll have to go back and like seriously watch this run again, is all the stuff that we're mentioning. It's really interesting to see a second time once you've been explained exactly what happened. But you'll see the egg that Dact got under the level, normally as he's skipping eggs like the one that he's about to get right now, he skips it with start immediately because it's fast too. The one that he got under the level right there, he didn't, and that's because if you skip that egg early, as soon as possible, you clip back and bounce. But if you wait on that egg, then you don't. And so it's a very weird, unique component of the way that egg is collected. There's no other egg that does that. But it's because of the animation of the dragon that's coming out of the egg. Allows you to stay out of bounds if you wait a little bit.
Wow, I just got owned by that seal. Missed the snowball. You do some camera manipulation at the start of this level because those seals only progress in their cycle when they're on camera, and so that you don't have to wait for their cycles. But unfortunately, I did the camera manip correctly and then just missed the shot. But otherwise, Bentley is pretty much the least interesting of the characters that you play as in this game. You can only really just walk. This is one thing that was improved a lot in Reignited. They made him a lot faster.
I was just going to ask, I know you mentioned Reignited already. Do you run Reignited as well?
I do not.
Yeah,
I did, like, I played it when it came out on PC, and I enjoyed it. Like, the game looks fantastic. It's really pretty. And then, like, especially Spyro 1 in Reignited is really fun. There was some later, like, you could tell that they put more work into Spyro 1. Sorry, I'm not trying to shade Toys for Bob or anything. But, like, I just didn't really get into it as a speed game. Like, it's quite different in terms of the physics and the glitches you can do and stuff. And I already play enough Spyro. But the Reignited games do have their own community, their own, like, speedrunners and stuff. And they are cool runs. I've watched them. Just not for me.
Nice. Another dead body proxy. And then Dact is going to go for a death abuse right here. There's an interesting quirk with the eggs, where normally they have a save point, where you collect the egg, Zoe saves you, and then if you fall off the edge and die, you go back to where that egg is. But if you fall off that edge while you're collecting the egg registers as being collected, but you don't get the save point. So it makes the routes really, really interesting in some levels because you can ignore save points and respawn and double up on proxies, things like that. In this boxing challenge, Dact is going to try to jab while the Yeti's mitts are up, because if he lands those punches correctly, the jab does more damage than it should. Got a good chain right there. But basically you want to lock this red Yeti into this chain of getting hit because those jabs are so powerful if they're guard break jabs. I don't think intentionally.
Yeah, it's something that you might not pick up on even if you run the game, that you're doing more damage with the guard breaks. Yeah, the presence of the egg death abuses is part of what makes, like, life management kind of a big deal in this category. You only start with a few lives. You don't start with very many lives, and there are quite a few strats that save time that involve death abuses. And so you really do need to kind of keep track of that, especially if you have accidental deaths, or like you maybe fail at a strat and don't die when you intended to, or die when you didn't intend to. And then the optimal route, which I'm not doing today, has a game over abuse at one point, which also requires kind of careful life management. Unfortunately, that game over abuse route, while it does save some time, it makes that Firefly proxy that we talked about earlier kind of all or nothing. You only get one attempt at it. So...
I'm going to pre-explain one of the side areas in this level, the only side area that's done in this run, and that's just, there's a Jack and the Beanstalk challenge that you'll see in a little bit. It's supposed to be a puzzle challenge where you have these flowers that spawn, they're just platforms, you have mushrooms, you bounce on them, you're supposed to have to combine those a lot to reach the highest platforms in the side area. There are proxies you can do from fodder or from the flowers themselves, and there are boosted jumps you can do from the mushrooms that allow you to break the challenge. So Dact, I think, is going to be going for some boosted jumps off the mushrooms. The way those work is if you charge as you're coming down onto a mushroom and hold X, then you get a couple of, you'll hear it. It'll be this trill of jumps, a few in a row. It gives you more height than usual, so you're able to skip some intermediate platforms.
Going for a little squeeze proxy off the frog there. I think it's a square. I'm not even sure. It's an unusual kind of proxy where you just like let go of square at the right time. If you get a good one, you can make it up to that ledge. Skip this mushroom.
So this mushroom here is going to be a boosted jump. You'll hear it. So you hear 2 or 3, just kind of like a flutter of jumps. And you'll hear it again, so you'll have another opportunity if you didn't hear it this time, but it is different than just if you were to jump off a normal mushroom. It doesn't usually give you this height. This is glitched height.
Yeah,
Nice.
So just spin jumping onto the mushrooms in the first place is something that gives people a lot of trouble, and then the glitch bounce after that. So other than missing the frog at the start, that was quite good. And then doing a slightly safe strat here, but still much better than going the normal way. Nice. Yeah, so skip a little cutscene there and skip having to go up this whirlwind. Can make it straight to this guy. The fastest method actually goes down onto the little bridge and does a proxy off one of the archer Rhinox. But that is both much more dangerous and, in my opinion at least, quite a lot harder of a proxy, so...
Yeah, I'd agree.
At least with the one I went for. Usually, like, it's very rare to get no proxy, and even if you get, like, a tiny little one, you can at least prevent yourself from dying, even if you don't get the time save.
Commented earlier about how Buzz is kind of this... very typical fight in 3D platformers of a simple boss that can be broken. This is also, unfortunately, a typical fight of 3D platformers of this era, where you have a late stage boss that is very, very random. And so in this case, the randomness is twofold. You have the weapon that Bentley gives you, green rocket or a red rocket, and you have the attacks that Scorch, the boss, does. Green rocket, not the best. Totally not anyone's fault except for Bentley. He just does not like cooperating with players who want to save the world.
Yeah, so you got the green rocket and the red rocket. The green rocket has 1 ammo, and the red rocket has 50 ammo, and they do the same amount of damage. So you do the math.
Yeah. The intention is to lock Scorch in these doubles, where you're able to hit him, and then he attacks and you hit him again. When you get a couple of green rockets especially, you just can't do those. You don't have the ammo to do it. So red rockets, you can, with 1 set of red rockets, you can carry it through the entire fight. So if you get that first, you're set, and then it just depends on what attack Scorch gives you, but those are less relevant than the rocket color.
Now I'm getting all the reds. Let's go. A fight that is much scarier in any percent, because you're usually doing it with no health.
Also really appreciate the music for that one. Banging.
Absolutely. Yeah, the Spyro games have really good soundtracks. Shout out Stuart Copeland and Ryan Beveridge.
One difference as well. So Dact is playing on the version 1.0, the original release of this game for NTSC. There was a re-release that corrected some glitches and made some minor aesthetic adjustments as well. But one of the differences is actually music. There are some tracks that are misassigned. So for example, Evening Lake was not what some people might remember Evening Lake to be. I think Lost Fleet is different as well. The most obvious one is going to be at the very end of the run. There's going to be a track in Sorceress that you're like, this isn't very climactic. So on version 1.0, it just is that way. If I have been informed correctly, then apparently the music tracks for all the tracks exist on the disc. It's just they're not assigned to the correct levels in some cases, so it is unfortunate that you get such an anticlimactic Sorceress fight when the track is really good, actually, the one that's intended to be there.
Yeah, I think... I know the Sorceress music is on the 1.0 disc. I'm not sure about the other tracks, but... Yeah, I've been playing on 1.1 a little bit recently. I just got a 1.1 disc. It's theoretically faster for this category, but there's some other reasons why I'm not using it. But yeah, it's like very minor differences. Oh, it's very minor differences. So whatever you have is like completely fine to use.
Here, you can have...
So the skip that Dact is going to go for, it's like the frog that he went for the squeeze proxy off in Charm Bridge in the Jack and the Beanstalk challenge. You release square, you hold shift square again. You saw a little bump right there. That's a Spectrum proxy, you're a small one, but it kind of gives a feel for what he's trying to do. You want the skip all the way. It's funny, this slide has had a few skips found. There's the one that Dact just used. There's one that another runner NickRPGreen used to have the record in this category. Found against the railing, saves another couple seconds, and then there's the turtle proxy that Dact was going for. And colloquially, the first one was called slide skip, and then as a joke, the second one was called slide skip skip because it skipped the skip. And then when the turtle was found, of course, naturally, what follows is slide skip skip skip. So hopefully, we find another one soon that can add a skip to the name.
Oh, what? I don't think I've ever had him turn around like that. It's fine.
Nice backup on that.
Thank you. Yeah, the method I did at the start there and kind of got juked out of at the end is a lot better. Like I thank you, Jeremy, for finding that one, because that's like so much better than the old method. But still knowing how to do the old method is definitely valuable because sometimes stuff goes wrong. The proxy off the Scorpion there is like the easiest thing in the game. Like you could go and do that now if you boot up the game. Like you just walk around the Scorpion to its right, your left, and don't even press any buttons. Just walk, and it will kind of boost you upwards.
This challenge that Dact is going into right now, starting from the moment he spawns in, these submarines are on a cycle, and so it's very important he has good movement to Hunter, and the start of the challenge is good, because once he's on pace for what he wants, then it's relatively easy to get what he wants. But if you go behind pace, then suddenly everything's messed up. So you did really well on this, except for the last guy. But
yeah, the
first 7.
Oh my god. The shots from the Manta are kind of annoying because they spawn quite far in front of you, like where the rocket launchers are, and so if you're right up next to a shark like that, it's quite difficult to hit because they're too far forward. Crazy proxy there.
Oh.
Another squeeze. It's interesting, actually, that one. It takes advantage of the fact that there are invincibility frames after taking damage to have the Scorpion attack again while you're close to one of the larger Scorpions, and it gives you a higher proxy than you can get from those smaller Scorpions just by themselves.
Yeah, that's a big part of why Shark Subs is so much faster as well. Being able to like get out of that area so quickly.
I know that some of these tricks were also present in Spyro 2. How do the two games, well, I suppose, and compared to Spyro 1, how do those games differ from this, if much at all?
Yeah, so Spyro 2 and 3 have very similar physics overall. The big difference is that Spyro 2 has an additional movement glitch called the double jump. It's an unintended technique where you can basically charge upwards out of a jump, and it lets you get like way more height than you're intended to get, basically everywhere. And so that is obviously very significant in the movement for that game. But pretty much everything else works the same way between the two games, and there's a lot of like skill transfer. If you're good at one of the two, you'll probably be good at the other without too much trouble. Spyro 1 is completely different. I mean, obviously it's still a Spyro game, but like the physics are quite different, and so there's a lot more a lot more to learn if you kind of go between Spyro 1 and the other two. Spyro 1 is a bit, I don't use this word as like a derogatory, but it is simpler. Like there's less kind of less going on, but that also makes it really hard to optimize because there's less tricks. It's all just like move as quickly as possible, and you do move a bit faster in that game.
Yeah, I get what you mean there.
I think as well Spyro 1's pretty interesting in the just fundamental movement. In Spyros 2 and 3 oftentimes the fastest thing to do is just going to be to charge, but in Spyro 1 you have niche cases where it's faster, like going up a slope, for example, to jump, charge, or to instead, what is it called, a skitter jump or something, where you're holding it and getting jumps in a row.
Yeah, I feel like the APM is higher in Spyro 1, like you're just pressing more buttons.
Mm-hmm. And then because there aren't really the same skips that are available for homeworlds, like there's not a homeworld skip in this game, but there are, I guess there's a significant skip at the end that allows you to skip a lot of the requirements. In Spyro 1, the requirements are very explicit, so you end up having to collect a lot of gems no matter what, a lot of dragons no matter what, unless you're using cheats, which there are some really interesting categories that use cheats. But for like any percent in the max completion category, you won't see those.
Yeah, Spyro 1 any percent is a really interesting run, actually, just because of the you have to get a lot of collectibles, but not all of the collectibles, so there's a lot of routing that goes into that.
You may now
Dact is using a new Tanks 2, this is the second Tanks challenge, new Tanks 2 strat, that relies on the way the far tanks kind of float away based on where you are. They float around their candles. So he's able to set up a shot and then quickly move to the right and have those shots hit because the enemies just kind of move into the shot when they're supposed to be protected by the candle holders. Nice.
Thanks. Yeah, I used to struggle with this challenge a lot. I never really had a great route for it, so I did a resetless run yesterday and got a 6-second gold in this level, which is mental. Yeah, coming up close to the end here, we've just got one more level and then the final boss. This level has a kind of interesting route. You basically do it backwards. I can't get up here. I'm just gonna go up the step. Yeah, so we'll be doing a little like unintended jump off one of the windows in like on the scenery. It's from a spot that you can't stand on, but there's quite a lot of spots in the scenery in this game where you can't stand on them, but you can like charge jump off them if you collide with them. I did one of those back in Pros and Alters, actually.
And then you'll get a chance to see a nice squeeze proxy as well, which is good. So like what we were mentioning in Bamboo Terrace, imagine the soap, imagine squeezing it. And Spyro's the soap.
Just like that. And you can't just like drop into this room and talk to the dude. You have to break that wall. Otherwise, he won't give you the egg. So there's a little bit of protection against sequence breaking, but not very much. And then very recent discovery. Turns out if you, because of that momentum thing that Jeremy mentioned earlier, if you just swim very slowly into that side area portal, you can just avoid talking to the NPC there. You're supposed to get sucked into his like talk radius immediately. But somehow it took us like, how long's this game been out? 16 years to to figure out, oh, that's embarrassing. And I talked to him as well because I forgot that I'd skipped it. Imagine doing that at the end of a PB-based run. Happens for everyone.
It's okay. Now, after being skipped more recently, he was feeling lonely, so it's good that you talked to him.
Yeah. The controls in these water tunnels are a bit awkward as well. Like, there's a bit of delay between like actually pressing a button and when he starts moving.
Mm-hmm.
That was some...
And then just head backwards through to get an egg that was in the middle of the level that we kind of skipped.
Egg number 100 right here.
Yes, it's not time, but it's a good bit to call time here.
It's done. We're done.
Yeah, it's all over.
Yeah.
No, we do have to actually beat the game.
The final fight is actually incredibly nuanced and a really, really interesting fight. The more you dive into it, at least for me, the more that I have dived into it, the more I've been interested by it. It's just a very fascinating fight. The main point that Dact is going to try to do is to skip the final phase. It's supposed to be 6 hits with the cannons. No, that's not true. 2 hits with the cannons, 4 hits with the tanks, and 6 hits with UFOs. Dact doesn't want to use a UFO because they're slower and trickier. He'd prefer to get an extra tank instead, so he's going to try to force that. And there's a lot of information you can gather from what spawns. So Dact is going to go to the cannon that's going to drop. He already knows based on the 3 cannons that have spawned, and he also knows how the sorceress is going to run away from him when he boards this cannon. She has a unique path based on which cannon drops. Once the cannon phase is finished, there's a cluster of strats that can be used to dynamically set up the UFO skip. So since he got another tank, he's going to use, since he got another cannon, he's going to use that other cannon. Now he's going to finish it up with a tank and then force the second tank to drop instead of a UFO.
Oh, I could have just gone for that. Didn't realize I had the power tank. Oh, no, it was this one. I just misread it. That's fine. All good. Alright, time very soon. And time.
Woo!
Nice.
Thank you. Yeah, I kind of...
That's a good run.
But, what was the time? I didn't have my timer up.
It looks like very low 54.
Nice. Yeah, if I like 20 seconds from autosave, so maybe a 53. I can't see the final time, but
Yeah, no,
very nice.
It's a very nice run.
Yeah, I'm happy with like 54x in a marathon run. So if it's like basically a 53, I'm really happy about that. I hit quite a lot of the stuff that I was going for, actually. I kind of wanted to show off the cool strats. So that definitely went a lot better than my SGDQ run from 9 years ago. Which actually was even worse than it looked because, fun fact, during the event for a little bit, the timer was actually running too slowly. So, like, there was a handful of runs of mine and then a couple before and after that looked better than they were because the GDQ stream timer was running incorrectly. But yeah, thank you very much for having me and for showing off, letting me show off Spyro. Thanks, Jeremy, for explaining things and letting me focus when I needed to.
Of course.
Before I do let you go, I do want to talk a little bit more about your run back from all those years ago. Like how much have you changed as a speedrunner in all of that time?
That's a good question. I mean, I would like to think I've got better at the games that I play in 9 years, but like, what was I doing in 2017? I was at uni. I was like, yeah, I traveled to America 3 times in 2 years around then. I went to AGDQ in 2016 and then both GDQ events in 2017. I haven't been back since, but like, that was a really good time, and I'm glad I got to actually do a run back then. But yeah, I've run a bunch of different stuff. My main thing is this PS1 Spyro games. Like, that's what I'm best known for. That's what I mostly run. But I've picked up a bunch of random stuff as well along the way, like Pokemon and Mario World and all that. So
I think it's good to mention as well, like Adact is one of the most well-rounded Spyro players that there is. Like we have these like community points that weight categories, and if you look at Adact on that, you're like, oh wow, he's really good, because he is. Like you said, he's played a wide variety of the Spyro games, wide variety of the Spyro category, and he's very good at all of them.
Thank you. Yeah, I've never had like a main category world record. I'm not someone who tends to grind for like the absolute tippy top time, but I do like to be at least decent at everything that I run. And yeah, like depending on how you calculate them, I'm either in 3rd or 4th place on those like community power rankings, which is I'd like to get 3rd place on the one that I'm not currently in 3rd. But yeah, my focus at the moment and for the foreseeable future is 117%, which is the like max completion category in this game. It's 3 hours long. I'm running that at the Australian Speedrun Marathon in a few weeks. It's the week after SGDQ. So ausspeedruns.com if you're interested in that. ausspeedruns.com. Really good event. And then also someone in chat just mentioned the 1545. That's a big like community, like multi-community relay race that started at the same time that my run started today. I'll be running on 17 in that in about 8 or 9 hours from now.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, I have 2 event runs today. It's great.
The big Spyro day.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, lots going on. And yeah. And yeah, Jeremy, what are you doing at the moment?
I'm recently back to when I started speedrunning. It's a little after DACT, about 6 months after DACT, I think. We've both been going at it for about 12 years now. I think DACT 12 and a half or 13. But my main category was always Spyro 3 and 8% until I got what I wanted in that. But with all the new stuff that's been found recently, I've been drawn back to it. So I've been de-rusting that, running it again. Got a PB recently, so I'll be doing that for the foreseeable future.
Brilliant. Well, this has been a really awesome run. I loved this game when I was younger. I realized that I haven't played Spyro 3 in so long. There's so much of this that I didn't remember. So might give me the push to give it another playthrough.
Very good. I realized recently that, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I realized something horrible recently, which is that I've been speedrunning this game for half the time that it's been out. Like I've been running this game for as long as the game had existed when I started running it, which is a terrible thing to discover.
Does that make you feel a little old?
A little, yeah. Just a bit. On and off in that time. I haven't been running this continuously for 13 years, but...
Well, before I let you both go, I do have one final question for you both, which is... what are your thoughts on A Realm Beyond?
I am excited for it. I have no idea if it's going to be any good. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. I don't really mind. Like, I kind of missed the hype period for Reignited Trilogy because I don't own any modern consoles and it took a year to come out on PC. So, like, I didn't get involved in, like, all the like new game hype for that, but I'm excited to play that and figure out if has tech and stuff, and if it doesn't, and if it's a bad game, whatever, we're in the same position we were before. But it's cool that there's new stuff coming. Like there hasn't been like a new Spyro game in like a very long time.
Yeah. I'm kind of the same. I think tempered expectations, but I'm excited that it exists. It doesn't look like the same form of platformer as the original trilogy. It's not necessarily a bad thing. I think it could be incredible. Excited to definitely play it and see if it is.
Brilliant. I'm looking forward to it. I very much hope that it's another fantastic experience, and I'm sure in a few years' time we will definitely see some speedruns of it here on the Games Done Quick channel. Well, thank you both so much for being here and for getting up early.
Thank you.
As you're both in Australia, so
no, Jeremy's not in Australia. I am.
Oh, sorry. No, second runner is also from Australia. That's why I'm getting mixed up. But no, thank you so much for being here, for bringing us some Spyro, and for reminiscing on your past run. So yeah, well, folks. Welcome back, fellow travelers, to this GDQ Mainline Special Edition of Fast Travel. We are celebrating international runners who have made the trek to the United States to be on the GDQ main stage. If you've just missed our first run by Dackley of Spyro Year of the Dragon, Spyro 3, then of course you can go and check it out on YouTube when it's uploaded in about a week's time. If you're watching that VOD right now, then give us a like, hit that subscribe button, or become a channel member to support us even further. So, as I say, we're talking about GDQs of the past. I'm sure everyone has a favourite GDQ that they particularly remember or fond of, a particular run that they enjoyed personally. SGDQ 2023 was one that really sits in the old noodle, considering it's the only one that I've managed to be there for, which is an absolutely fantastic time. I'd love to go back at some point, but one day it might happen. And of course, we have lots of international runners who have been to GDQs of the past, and we will have some more at SGDQ 2026 in just a couple of weeks' time. It's really, really exciting. Now, our previous runner was from quite an old GDQ, and this next one's even further back with their original appearance and the run that they're going to share for us today. This is all the way back to AGDQ 2016 we are going to this time, because this is Metroid Fusion any% on the Game Boy Advance, being ran by JRP2234. JRP, welcome to Fast Travel.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, it has been 10 years. I can't actually believe it's been that long. I was so excited for that first event.
No, that's not to say that that's your only. It hasn't been 10 years since you were last on the main stage. I know you were at SGDQ 2017 and AGDQ 2020 as well, so you've been around a bit.
Yeah, it's a fun trip every time.
I know that feeling very well. So, what do you got for us today?
Alrighty. So we're doing Metroid Fusion any%. So we're going to be, hang on, excuse me. But yeah, we're going to be doing Metroid Fusion any%. We're just basically going to go through the game as fast as possible. It's a pretty cool run, so like we'll get into it once I start the run.
Ready as they'll ever be. Let's do this.
All right. Okay. So the run begins in count you down. Oh, I don't have splits. Whoops.
All good.
All right. So 3, 2, 1, and
let's go.
So the first thing you'll notice in this game is that there's a lot of dialogue. It's about 10 minutes of dialogue. And it's not easy because you have to time your buttons correctly to scroll the text fast. And then immediately after that, you have one of the hardest strats in the whole game.
Ooh.
Close enough. That room's pretty infamous for being really reset heavy because you'll lose a few seconds if you miss it. So throughout the game, there will be these nav pads that you go to speak to the computer. And the computer tells you where to go. And our first objective is to go over here and kill the Whore node, which is this enemy. This is more like a tutorial to understand the game mechanics. So now that we've done that, it's just more dialogue. So I can go through some like basic gameplay mechanics. So if you pay attention to my movement, I'll be doing very specific things. One of them being called a shoot cancel. So when you land, so when you're spinning in the air and you shoot, your hitbox gets pushed downward. So instead of like trying to time your jump perfectly, you can just shoot and it will perfectly land you every time. Nice. Now this run's pretty infamous for being very RNG heavy. There's a lot of segments in this that can just obliterate your pace, such as like there's 10 idols you have to deal with. You'll see them in the set, and depending on the luck, you can lose either like 2 seconds or you can lose 12 seconds. And there's 10 of them.
Oof.
So we're on our way to get the missile launcher. So the way you grab up, you get items in this game is you either kill a boss and you get their item from it, or there's data rooms where you can obtain an item. And these missiles are upgradable throughout the game, but the base missile is really weak. There's a few things that we're going to do pretty early to try and save some time, such as doing a thing called a double. You'll see it throughout the run. So if you can get 2 missiles to hit on the same frame, it will do double damage. So like the idol coming up takes 3 missiles, and if I do the double correctly, it would open in 2. Now, this category is not a free category, so there's a few concessions. I'm picking up more E-tanks and a bit more missile tanks. There's a few late game bosses that do a lot of damage. So there's an idol beam that's infamous for ending runs, because remember there's 10 of them. And those idols can shoot between 0 and 4 beams, but it's more biased towards 1 to 3 beams, the way the RNG works. So this boss is called Arachmus. And sometimes Arachmus rolls like that.
So even in these boss fights, you're having to deal with RNG?
Yeah, a few bosses have a bit of RNG to it. This one does too. Like the roll of Arachmus, you don't want Arachmus to roll. Every time it rolls, you lose a bit of time. Ideally, it just stands there and nothing happens. So
well,
now we have
want
the morph.
everything to be ideal.
Yeah. Now they have the morph, where we have access to the lower part of main deck. That takes us to all the sectors. So yeah, if you watch that fight, I did a few doubles, so 2 missiles hitting on the same frame. They increasingly get more difficult because like each missile upgrade adds a cooldown, more cooldown to your missiles. This is the extra missile tank I was saying I was going to grab. Because in Sector 1, there's a slight chance that you can run out of ammo and it's pretty annoying to recover from. That missile tank's just insurance that nothing will go wrong.
Is that something that you tend to do for marathon safety, or is that something you wouldn't do in sort of PB or world record attempts, or is that just
that missile tank? No, I wouldn't usually grab it. Usually, my ammo and health management is I grab 1 E-tank and I grab up to 40 missiles. So I have 25, so I'll be grabbing 3 more. Or 4 more, gotcha. Seeing as though I picked it up. So Sector 1, the objective is you have to destroy all the stabilizers. So it's about 5 of them. Sorry, not 5. There's about 4 of them. No, there is 5. I need new glasses. Let's look at the map. But yeah, you have to destroy all the stabilizers here to be allowed to leave Sector 1. Sector 1 has the charge beam upgrade, which is a really useful upgrade for some bosses because its max damage output is 52. So that's the first stabilizer.
Nice.
Yeah, Sector 1 has some randomness to it. Like, there's a reason why I grabbed the extra tanks. It's like, it's very unlikely, but like you can get some RNG here that will, like, particularly this room. These pirates are completely random. And sometimes you can get hit like 3 times and die. It's another one. So the thing about these rooms is that it doesn't matter how you optimize it, you can only gain or lose time in a couple of seconds, like intervals. It's sort of like the Super Mario Brothers flagpole at the end where you got the bus in it. What? Ooh. But yeah, you can only lose time in intervals of a couple of seconds in this room.
You said,
so we're coming up to...
No, go on.
Wow, it's really hard to miss that shot I just missed. What?
It's 1. 2.
So there's a bit of trivia about this boss. There's a mistranslation. For some reason, this boss is called the Elephant's Bird. This is there's 1 double. There's 2 double. Nice. Pretty good fight.
Doesn't much look like an elephant bird.
According to the manual, it does. So now we have charge beam, and charge beam. Hang on. Yeah, charge beam has 3 parts to it. So you've got the 2 main firing parts, the top and bottom, and then you've got the flare underneath. They do. If you hit all those shots at once on an enemy, it does 52 damage. It's the last stabilizer. The message tells us we can leave now. It's a pretty clean room. Room's annoying to do. A lot of things can go wrong in it. So we're heading off to Sector 2 now. You can feel free to ask some questions.
Yeah, so I know originally the run that you did of this back in 2016 was it was a race. It was between yourself, Hercules Bench Press, and Kirby Master. So how much has changed with this run since you did that race?
I think we're playing on the English version. I'm not too sure because we're playing on the Japanese version, which is several minutes faster than English. In terms of like strat wise, there's been like a lot of minor improvements. Like my PB back then I think was like a high 113, 114. My PB is now 111. 1 hour, 11 minutes, 48 seconds. So there's been like some improvement.
Mm-hmm.
It's still going too. I don't know how they keep finding ways. We're all wearing the Magoo shirt too. That was fun.
Do you recall who won the race?
It was me.
Wait.
I think I watched it. By the second room, no one ever got past me.
You said you're playing on the Japanese version because it's faster. Is that just because like the dialogue appears quicker, or is there something else about the game that is faster on this version?
Oh, it's just purely. Oh, what? Hang on.
You got this. Nice.
It's just purely text.
Just purely down to the text for the speed up.
Yeah. It's kind of funny because we say the text is 7 minutes faster. This is actually the slowest version of the game. Well, one of the slowest. Because like there's a category where you go out of bounds and corrupt the RAM. That skips like 20 minutes or something. So the English version is technically the fastest version. So we just unlocked the level 2 doors, the blue doors. Nice. That is a frame perfect jump.
Oh, sweet.
So now we have the bombs. They've severely nerfed the bombs in this game. They have a 60 frame timer. You can't mid-air bomb jump technically. I mean, you can, but like it's stupidly difficult.
Keep on rolling. Sorry. Couldn't help myself. How do you find this compares to the other games in the series? Assuming you either play or you've run other games in the Metroid series.
In terms of like technical skill,
yeah.
I mean, this game's probably right up there. Like it's deceiving how easy it looks. Is how I put it. The movement's very technical. I think the hardest run would be Super Metroid. That game is like leaps and bounds more technical than this one. But like the difficulty in this game is still there. Like it's pretty hard run.
Metroid is a series I don't have a lot of experience with. I played Metroid Prime for the first time either earlier this year or late last year, and not the remaster, back on the original on GameCube. So it's not a series I know very well. We have had Metroid Dread on the show before. So they always provide really, they're always really interesting, and it's interesting to see how different, how the series has evolved since this. I mean, this game goes back to 2002, and then see Dread's now only a couple of years old, but the fundamentals are still there.
Yeah, the fundamentals, like the platform, that's like the hardest part of like learning Metroid, is the general movement platforming is very different between games. So that was Zazaby. It's random how many times it would jump. Fortunately, it wasn't too terrible. Like the minimum is 3 jumps, the max is 12. That's more like middle of the road. There is a strat I am omitting. It's called SAX skip. Basically, there's an encounter with the SAX, which is the antagonist of the game. So usually you drop down there and jump over it. There's just one tiny problem with that. The SAX does 400 damage just by touching it. Oof. And like it's just barely possible to jump over it. So like it gives you an idea of like how risky that strat is.
Is that a strat you have in your PB, or you just don't go for it?
Oh, I do go for it. It saves like 8 seconds or something. Like it's a pretty beefy time save. But there's more of those high risk, high reward kind of things for like a marathon run.
Oh, absolutely.
And I haven't had enough coffee, so I'm not going for it. It's like 10 a.m. at the moment.
Yes, it is worth noting, just like Dackley, you are from Australia, so you're on an early morning. So where are we headed next?
So we're heading to Sector 4 to investigate why half the sector's been destroyed. This is where we'll get the speed booster. And this is where we get to do our favourite strat, the Thumb Destroyer 2000.
That's an awesome name for a strat.
So Sector 4 is not too terribly difficult. The only annoying thing is the boss, which has RNG. Who would have thought? The thing about this game is that a lot of the bosses, like when I say RNG, I mean like, I'm talking like the difference between 5 seconds and 15 seconds, 20 seconds. Like some of the late game bosses are notorious for ending runs because you just lose 20 seconds.
Oof.
Oh, well, sure.
We do have a question in chat. What is the world record for this game, if you know off the top of your head?
It's like 1:10:30 something. I don't remember off the top of my head. I just know it was around there.
That's good enough. I'm sure someone will be looking it up on speedrun.com and posting it in the chat very shortly.
Well, I haven't really been playing this game for like the past year because I decided to retire it. So that's probably why.
You came out of retirement for it just for us.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, apparently the answer is 110.15 by C. Scotty W.
Oh, it's close enough.
That's a pretty good guess then.
So this is series. So the first pattern's consistent, so we just wait here. Nice. That's series.
Very nice. Wow.
So yeah, series only has 50 HP, and like I said before, I incorrectly said it does 52 damage. I meant to say 25. But yeah, like series only has. Sucks. We love tank escape, don't we? There we go. That's one of the hardest strats in the game.
That certainly looked awkward.
Yeah, so the charge beam does 26 damage, and Ceres has 52 health. So if you connect all your charge beam shots into Ceres' head, you'll do 52 damage within 2 shots. So we just gotta lower the water level. So now we can Shine Spark. So yeah, we have Speed Booster now. There's something I'm going to attempt. It's called a Low Height Shine Spark. There it is. So usually you can't Shine Spark between 2 block high spaces. But if you Shine Spark 1 pixel above the floor, you can. That's sector 4 done. Not too bad, except if you forget about that bit that was bad.
We'll do that. Chat, forget about that bit.
Yeah, tank escape is the strat where I wall jumped up the wall. Because you can't single wall jump in this game, but you can underwater. But it's really tricky at the top. You have to like do a really... So you have to like wall jump to a rhythm, and then at the very top change that rhythm slightly so you're a bit quicker, so that you wall jump out of the water. My first attempt, I wall jumped in the water, so I fell down. But that strat's pretty notorious for ending runs.
I said earlier that the race that you did isn't your only appearance. So you also for SGDQ 2017 you did 0% of this same game, Metroid Fusion. What does 0% entail?
Well, it's basically just like any percent, like the route doesn't change, but you're severely limited in ammo. So you have to beat the game with 99 health and 10 missiles.
Wow.
Oh, I got it. Bang.
Oh, that looks slick.
That's a frame perfect trick.
Nice.
But the first frame you land with a speed booster, like that, it considers you still running. It considers you still running, so you still have the speed booster. So if you press down on that frame, it will store it. So now we have level 3 doors unlocked. Sorry, level 2, sorry. The main reason is here. This missile tank we nicknamed Bob. You were not intended to be able to skip it, but we found a way.
Is there a particular reason for calling it Bob, or was that just everyone likes the name Bob?
Someone was like, I shall call it Bob.
It's always awesome how sometimes you do get, really, really intricate and fun explanations of why a trick is named in a certain way, and then other times it's just, I like the name Bob.
That's how a lot of Zero missions names got chosen. Alright, this is called Box, and I hate this boss. You'll find out why. This is why I grabbed the extra E-tank. So in regular runs, if you fail that, you die. That's one of the hardest boss strats to execute because you have a lot of really awkward down inputs you have to do. We won't see Box until pretty late in the run. So that's like the first phase of the boss. So now we have the super missiles. So our supers are actually useful as opposed to not being useful. The base missiles are pretty weak. They're pretty useless. So like each missile upgrade you get, your cooldown gets increased. So like I was saying before, getting the double, the two missiles that hit on the same frame gets even harder. Because like you have to space out your missiles more.
Like a rather shadowy figure.
Oh yeah, this game has an interesting story. So like the whole thing's a setup. Like you can be under the guise of investigating an explosion, but like your real objective is to secure the station for the Federation to come in and collect the X, which I probably should have mentioned before. The X is the main enemy of this game. They're able to, like, when you're absorbed by a life form, it kills the life form and then perfectly replicates it. It's sort of like that movie, The Thing.
Okay, yep, I get you.
It implies that everything on the station's dead, and that it's just all X. And Samus has had the Metroid DNA infused with her, which can combat the X. That's why they're all trying to go after you.
So the other Samus that we've seen running around, that's also X.
Yeah, because she was infected.
Gotcha.
And they removed the infected parts of her suit and put it on this station. Gotta be careful. These blue X do about 80 damage. 80 damage plus stun locking you. Speaking of the SAX,
There she is
just
again.
gotta wait here. So those are power bomb blocks. I don't have power bombs, but that does.
Ooh, fun.
Alright, so the next box coming up gives us the Varia suit. It's called the Mega X. So it's like a Core X, which is the thing that spawns at the end of the boss fight, but it's bigger. That's why it's called Mega X.
You mentioned Metroid Zero Mission earlier, and that's the final run that you've done at GDQ for AGDQ 2020. So is that another game you're still active? Is that the game you're actively running at the moment, or have you moved on from that one as well?
Zero Mission, I'm sort of really on and off with. At the moment, I'm more focused on Super Metroid. So I usually just alternate between the three. But it's more like Zero Mission and Super Metroid these days.
Mm-hmm. And how much of the rest of the series have you tackled?
I ran Metroid Dread for a couple of months. But that was hurting my hand, so I stopped running it. I did learn Metroid Prime. Keyword being learn. I didn't end up running it. But like, to be fair, like the route I learned was like 10 years ago, and it was the absolute worst route you could learn these days.
Yeah, I've seen some runs of Metroid Prime, and the movement tech in that just looks scary. It'd be quite freaking...
Oh, it's very hard. Like, there's so many variables in your movement. And there's so many ways to get speed. There's so many things you have to watch out for. It'd be quite daunting. Especially the out of bounds portions, those are super difficult. You can just like fall off the wrong ledge and lose a bajillion seconds off the bat. So we're heading to Sector 5. Now, you'll love Sector 5, everyone. We get to go there 4 times.
Ooh.
So it's the first visit.
Is that because there's backtrack areas that we can't go to on the first visit due to equipment and things like that, or something else?
Well, the first 2 visits, the sector isn't destroyed. The third visit, it's completely destroyed. So, like, in one of the rooms to the right there will be a red door. It's actually fake. There's no door transition, there's no tiles. It's just a wall. But later on, that opens up. So we're going to get the ice missiles, and the reason they're ice missiles is because they say your suit isn't compatible with Ice Beam. Because your, the fusion suit is susceptible to cold. So, you take cold damage. You'll find out later that's a complete lie. It's like a 50-50 chance I'll get my shot sniped. We'll see. Right there, sometimes those 2 enemies are inside each other. And the Ice X blocks the shots, so if you get hit, you lose your speed booster and you have to go back and redo the whole thing. This becomes the next security locks. Let's open up the yellow doors.
Of the 3 speed games that you say you rotate between, so this Zero Mission and Super Metroid, which one's your favourite? Let's go with that question first.
I really like the Super Metroid run. But I like running this game too. Like, but if I had to pick, I would pick Super Metroid.
And if someone wanted to get into Metroid running, and they were interested in those games, which one would you recommend as a starting point?
It's a good question because like they all have their pros and cons. The easiest would be Zero Mission, if that's what you're looking for. Zero Mission's a pretty easy run to learn. Fusion's probably just above, just below. It's still easy, it's just a bit harder. Super Metroid's probably the hardest to learn. And I'll put it as it's easy like to get going, but it's hard to master. Okay, chat, we have to do the obligatory emergency in Franco Z, or else I get upset and I'll be sad. Don't make me sad. Usually during this is the meltdown segment, and usually every time it happens, chat will spam emergency in Franco Z.
We will wait with bated breath. Hey, here they come.
Franco Z. All I want to see is Franco Z's for the next minute.
You heard him, chat.
So story-wise, something's wrong with the main boiler, and if we don't correct it, the station will explode. There's a little bit of trivia. There's a cutscene that plays if you fail to stop it, which no one ever sees because it's literally impossible to fail with the amount of time you have. Like 5 minutes is like 6 minutes is super generous.
Seeing a lot of variations of emergency and Franco Z now in the chat. Keep them coming, folks.
Saw Magoo there somewhere. I'm starting to remember why I don't play this game without a load of caffeine.
Is this the earliest you'll have done a run before?
Not the earliest, but like definitely early. That's it.
Obviously,
I usually play at like 10 p.m. or 8, 9 p.m. Usually have the whole day done already.
Obviously, the race which you did of this is going back quite a few years at this point. But do you remember? Do you remember how you remember your experience and sort of how you handled? Because obviously, it's a big time difference. Going from Australia all the way to the US. How was that experience for you?
Well, I stayed at LA for a couple of days, and what I did was I slept 17 hours or something the first night. I was actually out on like tour guides and that, and like I was falling asleep on the little tour cart they have. Yeah, that night I slept like 17 hours, and then like sort of went from there.
So at least you had a bit of time to sort of recover and adjust before your run started.
Yeah. I didn't have that luxury for 2020 though, because I was like the second run.
Oof.
So I was pretty tight on that run.
And how did you see the event sort of evolving and changing between those 4 years?
Four years, like from the original. Sorry, what year? Sorry.
Well, so your first appearance was in 2016, and then your last appearance so far was 2020. How do you feel like in that 4 year gap between those two events? How much did it change? How did your experience change?
Well, as like throughout the years, like because I've been at least 7 times. So like,
oh wow,
it's not. Yeah, so I've been to GDQ a lot. Like the one thing I noticed is like the venue was getting bigger and bigger, which was nice. I still remember the one with they had I forget which hotel it was, but half of it was like under construction. There was like this hallway, really narrow white hallway. But yeah, like it's definitely gotten bigger throughout the years. So we're coming up here to get the ingredients for the barbecue. Sorry, we're saving the animals. So it's random how long it takes for them to come out of the door. Yeah.
God, look at him.
Saving the animals is canon, by the way. Nah, they ran past the door. If they run past the door, you're not getting the fast animals. Fortunately, they weren't too long. I'm also going to be careful because you can soft lock here. Alright. For some reason, so the game will auto close that box, the text box, and if you press a button to manually close it, the exact same frame it tries to close it, you soft lock. So it must get stuck in that pose. I could never get it to work, but I know if I tried now, it would have worked.
Did you have the opportunity for a save/kill the animals incentive for any of your runs?
Not for this game, Super Metroid yet. Do you all remember Sector 5?
We're going back to Sector 5. Woo!
So the way this game's been developed, okay, so it's very self-aware that it's telling you where to go. Except for some portions of late game where it does not. It's kind of funny because like there's a lot of game back forum posts about getting stuck in Sector 4. They thought they sequence broke. So we're getting the power bombs. So I was alluding earlier to like how English was the fastest version for this game. So in this version has bug fixes. One bit in particular is they fixed the exploit to get out of bounds because like frozen enemy hitboxes, they're very weird when it comes to jumping into them in corners. So you can't get out of bounds in this version. So like, but if you could, you would go out of bounds here, place a few power bombs out of bounds, and it overwrites the RAM for file C. So when you die and reload, it will put you straight at endgame. Like right at the end. You skip most of the game doing that. This is the last time we'll be using this data room because it will be destroyed the next time we come here. So now we have the power bombs. This game's very generous when it comes to power bombs. Like the max is 74.
That's a hefty
Through a
max.
mission, you barely get any. And it kills runs if you don't get good drops.
Is that 74 from the get-go, or do you need to grab upgrades to collect more later?
Oh, expansion tanks. Like, in 100%, you'll finish with 74.
Gotcha.
At least I feel warmed up now. Like, the first 20 minutes, my hands were like... Alright. So the annoying thing about coming here multiple times is remembering which route you're doing, because you go through that main hub room like several times. And if you accidentally go back to the data room, you lose a minute. Because there's a gate you can't open.
So what's that? What's our current objective at the moment?
That just said we had to go back to the ship, which is very out of character considering that usually the computer would just tell you all the stuff that's happening from the computer screen. We need a plot device, is what it was saying. Because when we go up here, the station will lose all power. So the elevator will stop. Oh no, it's Ridley. Whatever shall I do? Bye. This room's infamous for ending low percent runs. Because though the spits they drop do an enormous amount of damage. This jump is called the JRP jump, despite the fact I didn't make it. But people call it that.
Oh, look
So
at it.
the whole point of coming here was just to see the animals.
Yay. That's what half the audience is here for. They just want to see the animals get saved. And of course the other half is here for your fantastic gameplay.
Coming up is the hardest boss in the whole game. There we go, we just beat it. That's also infamous for ending low percent runs. Because if you grab it, your run's dead. There's no do-over. So this boss is called Yakuza. The first phase will climb around the room several times, and we wanted to open its mouth immediately.
Ugh.
2 round. 2 round. Okay. I actually can't believe that second double worked.
Very nice. Well done.
Yeah, so that's the whole fight. Like, the thing about Yakuza is, like, there's no way to skip the second phase. Well, I mean, you can, but, like, when you drop below 500 health, it starts phase 2, and its health resets back to 500. So Yakuza gives us the space jump, because, as we all know, spiders have space jump. Because even a spider, it doesn't have enough legs.
Chat has pointed out that there is another boss called Arachnus that isn't the spider boss, and Yakuza is the spider boss. Is that another translation error, or...?
Now, in Metroid 2, Arachnus is in the game, called Arachnus. So the first boss you fight on this station, because this station is housing a lot of enemies from SR388, which is where Metroid 2 is set in. So the first boss would be Arachnus. Which I think is a nice nod to Metroid 2. This boss is called Nitori. It's the hardest boss in the game.
Hang on, we've heard that before.
Oh, almost died. It's the thing about, like, the boss fights here is you want to get the core X to stop at a very specific point, because you can only pick up the item once it hits a certain location and stops. So if you kill the core X exactly where it stops, where it's gonna stop, you can pick it up straight away. Ah, well. The shine spark here I was trying to do is frame perfect. Just slightly too early. So we're heading to our favorite location, everyone. Can you ever guess which one that is?
We'll go back to Sector 5 again, are we?
Oh, you bet ya.
Yeah!
We love Sector 5 here.
If there is one thing I will take away the most from this run, it's that we love Sector 5.
So this time around, Sector 5 is going to be completely destroyed. And that red door I was talking about before is now no longer a door, so we can go through it.
Chat seems very excited to also be going back to check Sector 5.
So I'll be getting the gravity shoot out of this. I want to point out, there's like some mild flashing on Nightmare. You want to look away from it when I defeat the boss. Nothing too intense, but like, I should point that out.
It's a good warning. You can warn folks. How does this boss actually compare to some of the others? We've had the joke of the easiest bosses, but what's this one like?
It's not too bad, but it's an annoying fight as well. I'm going to be doing the fight in a very deliberate way. So hopefully I get the patterns I'm looking for. Because, remember how I said a lot of these bosses have RNG? Nightmare's the exception. Nightmare has no RNG. So Nightmare's patterns of movement is entirely based on how you move. And how you enter the room too. So I intentionally entered the room holding right. So I should get a good pattern.
Ugh.
It's phase 1 done. That's done. So that's the it's not a particularly difficult fight. It's just a very annoying fight. So if you slightly mess up your movement, then you're gonna get unpredictable patterns. But if you do the same thing every single time, you always get the same result.
What was the change to the suit that you've been rewarded with that makes Samus purple?
It's the gravity suit. So
Yeah.
we have unrestricted movement in water. We can also go in lava now. Because yes. I don't know why. Someone needs to explain to me, why does the gravity suit give you lava protection?
Sounds like they just wanted to combine the two powers.
This room's infamous. I was saying before, like how people would post on GameFAQs that they soft locked. Yeah, that room is why. Because at this point of the game, the computer stopped telling you where to go. So we have the level 4 doors. It's the last doors we're unlocking. I'm not doing secret message, sorry chat. Oh yeah, so we have plasma now. Okay, so the base damage for plasma is weaker than your previous weapons. But it pierces through enemies, so it goes through them and does damage per frame. So although its base damage is weaker, its output is way higher. Oh. It's not an ice missile.
Whee.
Now, I said I was playing on the Japanese version. There's a very distinct change in this particular version. So usually, to get the secret message, you could cheese this room to freeze the puffer there on the left. To go back to the nav room pretty early, you'll get like a hidden message left by the developers. They fixed it by changing this room so that the puffer is now on the left side. They've also removed the middle tunnel. It's really the only major room change in this version. But yeah, the fusion missiles allows you to charge your missiles, and when it hits an object, it shoots ice particles. It's probably the most, in terms of like game design of this game, the fusion missiles are pretty useless. Like in the English release, you can beat the whole game without firing a single one.
Certainly sounds pretty useless then.
Yeah, it's not a particularly exciting upgrade. It lets me lag the game a lot. So this is Sector 6. Sector 6 goes straight into the restricted lab. Apparently I'm not authorized to go there, but I didn't get the memo, so we're going there. And we're coming back to Box, the security robot we fought back in Sector 3 like 20 minutes ago.
We have a question in chat about the Japanese version being released first, or was it a re-release?
Oh, it's a later revision.
Gotcha.
It has a lot of bug fixes. I think a lot of the bug fixes have to do with like the sound engine not being really buggy. The sound engine's really buggy in these games. It's sort of fixed in this version, but like you can still find a way to make it crash the game.
Warning, no entry without authorization. Warning, no entry without authorization.
Alright, so coming up is Xbox.
No entry without authorization.
I thought you were playing on Game Boy Advance. I hate myself.
Yeah, I got the quick kill though.
Oh, very nice. That was
Yeah,
slick.
those shots, you have to time perfectly. Like, there's no leniency with the quick kill. If you miss time a single shot, you get an extra cycle. And now we have the wave beam. So our beam can shoot through walls. So we're basically indestructible at this point.
No entry without authorization.
Like, Fusion's weaponry is probably the most overpowered out of any Metroid.
Warning.
Zero Mission, they really nerfed everything.
Authorization. No entry.
So here's the restricted lab where it keeps telling me that I'm not authorized to be here.
Warning.
But unfortunately,
Without authorization.
I didn't listen. So if you jump through this next door, the Metroids would be aligned perfectly. Also, here's some nice lag.
Fire alert. This sector will soon be 60 seconds to isolation lockdown.
Oh, wow. These Metroids are random. Sometimes they're just in your way.
That looked pretty
Bye.
nice.
So this is where you find out more of the lore of the game. So it's not just one SAX. There's more than 10. Because they reproduce. So there's like at least 10 SAX on the station at the moment. So heading into Sector 1, in case you forgot that existed. This is Lower Sector 1. This is where we fight Ridley, the quietest boss in the whole series. Quiet as a whisper. I'm also lying.
I couldn't have guessed.
So this next upcoming space pirates, you're intended to shoot their backs, right? But it only checks if you're facing the pirate. So you can just shoot and turn around. Kind of a weird oversight. Here's the last idol. Very nice. Perfect eye. Let's go.
It's Ridley. Is there much RNG in this fight as well?
Nah. What? You're not dead? Okay. These doubles are the hardest. I was saying before, for each upgrade you get, it adds more to the cooldown. So like these are the hardest doubles to get. So now we have the screw attack. We're basically indestructible at this point. So our objective right now is to leave and go back to main deck to initiate endgame. But yeah, Ridley is like one of those bosses that if you do the same thing every time, you should get the same results. He dropped a bit low for some reason, so I was a bit out of sync. So yeah, the law of the station is that we're using it to not only breed Metroids, but to like severely accelerate their growth. Oops. So there's a Metroid shell before there. If you have any questions, now's the time because we've got a nice chunky couple of minutes of nothing. This dialogue's really long.
How does Zero Mission differ? Obviously, it's still a Game Boy Advance game, so there'll be a lot of similarities. But what differs with that run from this?
Some of the general movement's different. So remember I said at the beginning, like there's a thing called a shoot cancel, where if you shoot, it pushes your hitbox down so you land faster. It doesn't work in Zero Mission. So like you have to manually time every jump properly, which can make some platforming a bit annoying. It's the way ledge grabs work are a bit different. You can't like grab a ledge and then jump onto the platform. But like in Zero Mission, you also move a lot quicker. You can single wall jump, you can bomb jump. Whereas you can't do that in this game. The way I describe it is Fusion plays a bit slower, but like you have more consistent movement. Zero Mission's a lot faster, and it's a bit trickier to have consistent movement.
Gotcha. I have also learned that you've been doing Fusion randomizers as well.
From time to time, yeah. It's kind of amazing that they got it to work, and it works all right. Like, for the longest time, like, it was said that it was not possible, and then someone was like, yes, it is.
Sometimes that's all it takes. And a randomizer something like you've actively speedrun or contested, you know, got into races with, or was it just a bit of a fun side project for you?
I just do it when I'm bored. I'm not that much into randomizers, but like I'll play like a few from occasion. It just depends if I'm in the mood. I'm very speedrun focused. but they are good. All right, here's the one of the final boss fights. Gotta make sure I don't mess this one up. This one's annoying to recover. So this is the final SAX fight. Now, if you're curious about the other SAXs you see on the station, no, you can't kill them. They're immune to everything. Oh. Nice. Usually, like in a casual playthrough, this fight's really tricky, but in a speedrun, it's very trivial. Because you just keep you keep freezing the SAX over and over. And when it's frozen, it does more damage too.
So I say you seem to keep it pretty much locked down with ease there.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like, I better not mess this up because if you miss that first shot, it's a really annoying fight.
I see we're now on the traditional timed escape.
Final stretch. Oh, I got the zigzag. Nice.
Oh, that looked nice.
Yeah, it's pretty tricky because you got to like tap left and right, and if you're holding a direction, you'll grab a ledge. Let's see if I get the low height shine spot. No. You want to shine spark 1 pixel off the ground because then you spark all the way to the wall over here. So this is the Omega Metroid. It's the only thing on this station that's not an X. Oh no! 1 HP. Really messed up.
To destination.
It's a pretty hard boss. Takes a lot of skill and practice. And that's Fusion. Times when I get grabbed in by the ship. And GG time.
Well done, GG.
And somehow this tiny little space station destroys the entire planet.
Well, I can tell you that your final time is 1 hour, 13 minutes, and 33 seconds.
Oh, good, because I split late. Well, not too bad. I
was going to say, how does that compare to other runs?
To my PB? Not that good.
We're pretty good for a marathon saying?
Yeah, it probably would have been better if I had more caffeine. Pretty tired.
Awesome.
So it's a pretty decent run.
It was a really awesome run to watch, and there's so much. The fact that you run so many Metroid games, your memory must be fantastic, because particularly in sort of older games like these, it becomes very difficult to discern one room from another. So to be able to run multiple Metroid games and have all of that committed to memory must be quite challenging.
Well, I used to run Fusion, Zero Mission, and Super Metroid every day, and I did that for a year. I recommend you don't do that. It's really annoying. No, I'm pretty capable of switching games pretty quickly with enough practice. So yeah, like I said, I tend to flip between the games quite a bit.
And where can our lovely audience find you running Super Metroid at the moment?
On my Twitch. I've been trying all year to get a 42. But like, I haven't discovered how to do it yet. I tried pressing the button, didn't work. The controller must be broken.
Is there anything you do outside of Metroid, or is it you solely focused on Metroid?
I run Mega Man 2. Normal
nice.
zipless. I have a sub 30.
Brilliant.
I was playing that briefly due to a thumb injury, but like that's my next goal after Super Metroid.
You swapped to Mega Man 2 because of a thumb injury?
Oh, because Super Metroid was really aggressive on my thumb.
Okay.
Mega Man 2 is not that aggressive on your thumb. You just press left, right, the occasional up and down. Where Super Metroid's, you just mashing the D-pad like there's no tomorrow.
Well, thank you so much for getting up early and showcasing this for us. Any shout outs? How can people get into the games?
I want to shout out Scotty because I can. I want to see Scotty W. Scotty W. Bench juice. There you go. You can join the Fusion Discord. It should be linked in the speedrun.com page. And it should take you directly to all the channels related to Metroid Fusion speedrunning. If someone wants to grab that, they can. But yeah, like, it's a pretty accessible game. There's lots of good tutorials you can follow. And all that fun stuff.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for bringing it here. And for a really, really cool run. That is going to be it for Fast Travel today, folks. I hope you've enjoyed these two platformers from our two Australian runners. And this has been nice, a nice little trip down memory lane to some past GDQ mainline runs. You know, I think I've enjoyed this so much. We might just do it again on the next episode. So we do now have a 3-week break until the next episode of Fast Travel, because of course we have got SGDQ 2026 between now and then. So all of Hotfix is on a week break during SGDQ. So we will be returning with Fast Travel on the 17th of July. And for that run, once again, where I've got this time 3 past GDQ mainline games for you. Sonic Lost World, run by Critical Sid. Rystar, I hope it's Rystar, Restart. I never know if it's Rystar or Restart. Run by Shime, and Elisa, run by Juho. So I do hope you'll come and join me again for those runs. Don't go anywhere, of course. We have got Passion Project coming up next, because some really, really cool games being run for that show as well. But as I like to do at the end of every episode, what have we learned? Well, we have learned, I think the only thing, the biggest and one takeaway I think we all need to take away from this today is we just love Sector 5. Sector 5. It's the best. Sector 5. Anyway, thank you very much for